Attack on Titan has officially ended after 9 long years. In that same time, we've had a pandemic. The Beatles released a new song, and GTA 6 is still not out yet. A lot has happened, and it's bittersweet to see it go, as it's what got me into anime in the first place, which arguably some may say was a curse, but there was nothing I could do. It was a canon event. Although I've already experienced this ending as I kept up to date with the manga, so considering manga fans all cried about this ending, I was surprised to see the reception to the final episode was really good, being called a perfect ending for the series. Although I wouldn't go that far. The ending indeed was never mid. It doesn't help that the definition of mid has been twisted beyond repair, going from, okay, this is kind of average, to this is the worst thing I've ever watched. I think the main reason the ending was disliked in the first place was that people just misunderstood Isayama's intentions with this conclusion. The character of Eren being one of the most misunderstood parts of the ending as a whole. As we've seen the series progress through the years, Eren himself has changed a lot. Through the early years, Eren was very hot-headed, being called a suicidal maniac as he rushed into danger without thinking, and constantly shouting about just how much he hated the Titans. I swear I'm gonna kill all the Titans, and then I'm gonna kill even more Titans, and when there's no Titans, I'll kill Eren, shut the fuck up! But after moments of weakness, the daunting revelations of Season 3, and his Titan powers giving him more psychosis than a Benadryl addict, his story unlocks the loot box of his past and future memories, as we see a new Eren leading into Season 4. This Eren is stoic, determined, and admittedly pretty fucking cool. Or at least as cool as a genocidal maniac can get. I swear I'm not defending him. It was great seeing him transform from this whiny baby who throws tantrums into the ultimate Sigma male, where the only thing harder than his resolve to achieve true freedom are those chiseled abs. I mean, how could anyone hate a character as cool as this? What made manga fans get so upset about this character arc? Oh right, I forgot about the... Yes, it seems the one thing manga readers couldn't face Eren doing was him crying. Something we have never seen him do before. People think this is a complete 180 of his character, and betrays all the development we've seen him go through. Which, on a surface level, this is an understandable take to have. But I'm sorry to break it to you, but Eren was only pretending to be a Sigma male. Just because he watched Drive once, that does not make him Ryan Gosling. Because I'm literally Ryan Gosling. It's unexplained if you can change whatever future you see in the Attack Titan's memories, but Eren putting on this act was a core part to his entire plan. Do you really think the Jaegerists or Flock the Goat would respect this Eren enough to follow through with him? Even then, I don't think this one moment negates all the character building we've seen. Just because a character changes drastically and is practically unrecognizable from what they once were, are they not allowed to cry about fumbling a goth baddie? This moment only serves to humanize Eren, and I think that's why some people don't like it. They wanted Eren to be a cold, ruthless killer who has no shred of empathy or even humanity left, instead of what he is, a very depressed moron. Sure, there were probably other ways to achieve his goal. Eren more than likely did not have to kill 80% of the world's population and push away all his friends in the meantime. But up here, there is no space left for brain. If anything, this plan was in line with his true feelings of freedom. If his friends had not stopped him, then he would have gone on to wipe out the entire outside world, but he gave them all the freedom to stop him. So in a way, this plan really doesn't contradict his philosophy. People who hate this ending, I feel, just wanted a dark ending that had none of the core values that have always been present in the show, which would have been a bigger joke than Aote no Requiem. Be careful reading that, you might cut yourself on its edginess. Apologies to its fans, but no, Eren never loved Historia. Eren and Mikasa have always loved each other. It's always been subtle in Eren's character until later seasons. And well, not so subtle in Mikasa's case. And I think this is another misconception. Love has always been one of the central themes of Attack on Titan throughout its entirety. In many ways, love can break the cycle. The love between Eren and Mikasa has been present since all the way back in Season 1, even if Eren had a hard time showing it. It's the core relationship of the show, despite teenage girls back in 2013 genuinely thinking Levi wanted to fuck Eren. Eren and Mikasa's relationship is without a doubt the most important, and that's all simply due to Ymir. Ymir is at the core of the entire story of the show. She's the one who started all of this when she let them hogs run, yeehaw! And falling into that tree that day caused the chain reaction of events that eventually led us to where we are today. But this part of the ending upset people too. Why did Ymir love King Fritz? Why did she need to see this to end the curse? And why did she hit the Nene like that? Well, it all stems from love. It's safe to say that Eren's whole life has been a never-ending cycle thanks to the Attack and Founding Titan's memory. stories, beginning with waking up at that tree with Mikasa, and ending with her decapitating him, only opening his eyes one last time to see her as she gets that pentakill. Mikasa is the first and last thing Eren experiences in the story. It's no surprise she's always drawn prettier from Eren's POV. This is because their love is so important, as Eren represents the cycle as a whole. It's quite ironic that Eren has always been so obsessed with the idea of freedom. Through the anime, he chases his natures and desires that he read about all those years ago in Armin's book. And over the course of the plot, as he gets closer to reaching them, he also becomes a slave to them. It's something I think a lot of people can relate to. You get so caught up in achieving something that you forget why you even wanted it in the first place. It's exactly like how I've become a slave to buying V-Bucks for Fortnite collabs. What, you expected me not to buy Omni-Man? Despite his love for Mikasa, he decides to become blind to it, throwing it away as he feels he has no choice. He is a slave to freedom. If anything, I'd make a strong argument that all along, Mikasa has been the true symbol of freedom in the series. Think about this from the other perspective. You're a young girl whose family got slaughtered by thieves, but your life was semi-safe by your young friend, who you fall madly in love with. And so you follow him from the apocalypse and into the military. Eren. You follow him across the globe and into warfare, only for him to turn around and say, "Oh, by the way, I hate you." So, cut to our finale. We then discover that in their last memories, he told her to get rid of that scarf and forget about him. And so, with all that Eren did to push her away, with Mikasa having every reason to resent him, she should have no problems moving on, and will happily listen to that final command, to forget about the man who put her through so much. But instead, she refuses. The Ackerman curse was always baked for her. She's free to choose to hold on to that love, even as she deals the final blow. This isn't a look of hate or regret. It's a full show of her affection, which is all the Ymir needed to see. Hey, yo, why is she smiling like that? While it's hard to imagine why Ymir grew to love King Fritz, it was this toxic, fake love that started this endless nightmare all along. It was only through Ymir peeking into Mikasa's head and seeing the genuine love they shared for each other that convinced her to move on, ending the curse of the Titans as we know it. In the end, that's all that can ever break the vicious cycle of hatred and violence. Love. It's as the owl told Grisha before he gave him his attack titan. Love someone in the walls. If you can't, we're doomed to repeat it. Now, this is all well and good, but I already know what some of you are thinking. There is one glaring problem with this. What's that, you may ask? Oh, I don't know. How about that the cycle never fucking ended? A big problem people had with the ending is that Eren's goal never had any purpose. He genocided 80% of humanity, helped get rid of the Titan curse, and that was kind of it. So, of course, the island of Paradis is basically fucked with all the world blaming them for this apocalypse. But here's the thing. Eren doesn't need to be right. This doesn't need a happy ending. I know it contradicts me talking about how the power of love will save the day, but this is not Attack on Disney. It would be very unrealistic for there to be permanent peace. Thousands of years from when the story of AOT actually takes place. Humans are stupid creatures who insist on nuking us back to monkey. Eren wiping out 80% of humanity in many ways does actually give the world its own form of freedom. With this percent of the globe extinguished, it puts every continent's population around the same as that of Paradis Island. With this and the curse of Ymir being removed, Eren has truly leveled out the playing field. Sure, humans will always fight. It's unavoidable. But now with it being a fair fight, every side has the freedom to fight for what they believe in, to fight for their survival, their injustices, their prejudices. It's not pretty, and honestly, Zeke's euthanasia plan was in all likelihood the better of the two options. The Eldians really should have deleted us the fetus. This plan, however, is much more in line with Eren's ideals that he and Armin shared in that book, to which they both agree they will meet each other in hell to burn for eternity. Eren for causing it, and Armin for leading him down this path. I'd also like to point out that this dialogue is so much better than in the manga, which got memed hard because... well, you can clearly see why.
That is cinema.
Although the ending may have been better left open-ended, the tree at the end only hones in on this endless cycle. It's left up to interpretation how the future goes from this point in the series. I like to imagine that whatever is born from this tree will be created from love, unlike the curse of Ymir, which was created with no love. Instead, something better will come from it. Perhaps there's nothing. Perhaps there's a good version of the Titan powers. Or maybe going in here just turns you into a bird like Eren. Either way, if if these post-credits of the series bother you so much, then you simply have the power to pause it here, turn off your TV, and go outside to— oh god, it burns! The cycle may have not been broken in the timeline we've seen, but who knows? Maybe Eren and Mikasa's love will stop the cycle from continuing onwards into the future. At least, that's what I'd like to think. Now, as I've said, this isn't a perfect ending. I wish I could say what ending I prefer, but I honestly can't. It's hard as a writer to compromise on the vision that you have in your head for your story's ending. It's one of the first things a good storyteller thinks of before they even start writing it. In many ways, this is how Isayama felt, claiming he would have liked to change the ending, but the fact was, he was tied down to what he envisioned all those years ago when he was young, even comparing how restrictive it felt to the powers that Eren obtained that restricted him too. In this sense, I don't believe he should have changed the ending, or felt guilty enough to offer this apology at Anime NYC last year. For me personally, artists who stick to their guns and push on through with their initial vision will always have my respect. Attack on Titan didn't have the perfect ending, but it didn't have a bad one either, and for a show there's been nothing but a slam dunk, I'd say this still makes the show one of the greatest animes of all time. Thank you, Isayama, for getting me into anime as a whole, and for the years of entertainment this series has brought us all.